The people of Boku West and Zebila, I want to thank you for this massive outturn at this beginning Ghana our tour in the upper East region. And as you are aware, we started yesterday, and today is the final day, and this is the penultimate stop before we go to Bongo and we bring the Upper East tour to a close. This is the Building Ghana tour, and as it's been explained to you, it is meant to interact with our citizens and get the issues that are of concern to you, so that when we put our manifesto together, we can capture as much as possible what the real concerns of Ghanaians are, and it will feed into our policy when we come back into government. Our Member of Parliament, Cletus, spoke, and he summarized a lot of the issues, especially with regards to infrastructure. I want to assure you, in 2016, we were extending power to as many communities as possible. As soon as we left office, those electrification programs came to a stop. And my understanding is that for the last 8 years, there has been no extension of power to any of the communities here in Boku West. For the communities that are waiting for power, I want to assure you, just be patient. The NDC is coming back and we will extend the electricity to your community. In many areas, we even had poles, electric cables, and transformers. All that was needed was to string the wires and connect the electricity. This government for the last 8 years has left the wires, left the poles lying in the bushes, and some of the transformers have been stolen. But I can assure you that the electrification program will start again and you will get the power that you need. I thank the representative of the farmers for the inputs that he gave. And I'll just take a few of the issues. As you are aware, in the savannah part of the country, the rainfall is for about 6 to 7 months of the year. The remaining period, there's no rain. And so, in the past, most of our people, after the rains have stopped and they have harvested their crops, they have nothing doing for the next 5 to 6 months. And so, before, they used to migrate to the south to go and do menial jobs to earn some cash and come back. And so, it's important that we provide the opportunity for them to work all the year round. Just now, a few hours ago, we were at the Tamni Irrigation Dam, which is going to put about 4,000 to 5,000 hectares of land under irrigation, so that our young people can work 12 months in the year, all year round, and be able to earn money. And so I know you have some dams here. Many of them are silted. And so one of the things I was telling Cletus is that we will have a program to desilt the dams so that they can hold more water. We're not going to do the one village, one dam style, where in the dry season, as soon as a few cows drink the water gets finished. We're going to invest in real dams that hold enough water for dry season farming. That is what we need. Aside from that, we will provide the small-scale farmers, the dry season farmers, with small-scale water pumps, so that along the red Volta and the white Volta, during the Harmattan, they can pump water and grow vegetables, carrots, onions, tomatoes, cabbage, lettuce. So that we can send these to the markets in the south, in Bolga, in Tamale, and other places. And our people will be able to earn some money. Aside from that, we are going to have you form farmers associations. And so you have a big farmers association here called Boku West Farmers Cooperative. And all the assistance that government is going to give you in terms of mechanization support, in terms of subsidized fertilizer, in terms of agri inputs, it is going to be given to your agri cooperative. You have an executive, you register it. And so government will give the assistance to you, including small loans. It will be given to your cooperative because you would have registered the farmers. And so you give it to the farmers. When they farm and they harvest their crops and they sell, they come back and pay. So that the next farming season, we can give it to you again. The Zebila market is one of the most important markets here in Upper East. For any of you who uses the Boku Road, when it's market day, it's a struggle to pass through Zebila. And so we know that we must do something about the market so that the women can go into the market so that our mothers and sisters can get space in the market so that they don't spill over onto the road the way they currently do. She talked about security. There's a lot of armed robbery in this area. And so security is going to be one of the major things we invest in. As I said, you can't have 24-hour economy without safety and security. And so we're going to wage a strong fight against armed robbery so that we can let our people go about their business without fearing that they will be attacked by armed robbers.
The Punch TV.
Aside from that, she talked about tomato processing. We intend to rehabilitate some of the old factories that existed. And so, for instance, the Wulugu Livestock Station, which is at Wulugu on the Tamale Road, we're going to rehabilitate it so that it can produce beef and cattle. The cattle will feed the Zwarungu meat factory so that we can begin to produce meat and corned beef and all those things again for the Ghanaian market. We'll also start the Pwalugu tomato factory. It was re-equipped in President Kufuor's time, but it has gone down again. And so we want you to get a market for your tomatoes that you produce. So if we restart the Pwalugu tomato factory, you can load your tomatoes, they will come and pick it up, they will weigh it, they will pay you for it, and they'll go and process it into tomato puree and other products for the market and for export. We started working on the Zebila-Zabre Road. We went halfway and we left office, and it has been abandoned. When we come, we'll continue the road to Zabre so that we open up that corridor so that our colleagues in Burkina Faso can have a way to come here and boost our economy. For the Kandu riders and Okada riders, I want to assure you that when we come, we're going to legalize it and we're going to regulate it. And so the harassment will go down. You are being harassed right now because the law does not allow you to pick human beings as passengers. But when we legalize it and regulate it, you are allowed to pick. You can even do your insurance so that in case you are involved in an accident, your passengers can be covered by your insurance. The price has gone up from 14,000 to 25,000 because these Kandus are imported. They are imported, knocked down, and they are assembled here. And so if we're able to stabilize the economy and make the foreign exchange stable, it will make the price of Kandu stable. But in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll help you by bringing a high purchase scheme through the rural banks so that you can take the Kandu and then you pay it gradually over the period until you own it. We're going to make sure that government patronizes made in Ghana goods. And so for the small and medium enterprises, you can bet that we're going to make it a major policy that government will buy made in Ghana goods so that we can increase production not only for our domestic market but also for exports to the neighboring countries. We will also help you, the small scale businesses, with solar power. We will put solar on your roof so that if you're a barber, you can use your clippers, you can have a fan in your salon, you can have a small TV, so that you can switch off the ECG. Because now electric power is very expensive. So if we put the solar, you can switch off the ECG, and then you use the solar. And then you pay the solar a little by little, little by little, until you fully own it yourself, and then you can use it continuously. We'll reintroduce the Youth in Entrepreneurship Program, which we used to call the YES, Youth Enterprise Support Initiative, so that we'll train young people, we'll find out what businesses they are interested in, we'll give them the startup kits, we'll help them to establish the business, we'll supervise it for 3 or 4 years until they are standing on their own feet, and then we'll leave them to manage their own business. We just came from the African Cup of Nations, and we performed abysmally, disastrously. And we performed abysmally because we are not growing our football. We are not. Before, we used to have the Colts, and every district used to organize its Colts League, and they picked the promising players from there. We used to have the academicals. The schools used to play against each other, and we picked the promising players from there. Before we come to under 17 and then all the other age groups. Unfortunately, all that has collapsed. And so we're going to work with the Football Association to start catching them young from when they are young, so that we can train them and give them to local teams. They will play, get experience before, if they even want to travel abroad, they can travel. But we will build the new Black Stars based on homegrown players, domestic players who have trained together for a long time and work as a team. And then we'll bring the foreign ones to come and blend with them. If you bring only foreign players, they don't play together, they play in their individual teams. And then when it's time for competition, you bring them and come and tell them to play. It won't work. The core of the Black Stars must be made by domestic players who have played together for a long time, who keep camping them, and they keep practicing together. And then when we are going for a competition, we can bring some of the foreign players to join the domestic players, and you see that we'll have a better team. And so we're going to overhaul Ghana football in collaboration with the Ghana Football Association. And all the football associations from the district up, you are going to be busy, because we'll send you resources so that you can hold football galas in your districts, and you identify the players for us. And when you identify the players, we will give them scholarships, we'll send them to secondary school, we'll watch them as they grow and they play, and eventually they'll end up in the national teams. And so we'll do all this in collaboration with the Ghana Football Association. And then Boko West, you say you've been left out. AstroTurfs have been distributed, you haven't got your share. You can be sure that when NDC comes, you will get your AstroTurf, a beautiful one. So when we come, you will get your share of the AstroTurf. And so before I sit down, I am standing for the presidential elections on the ticket of the NDC. But remember that we also need parliamentary majority. And so we have parliamentary candidates who are standing on the ticket of NDC. Don't vote for me and vote for anybody else. If you vote for me as president, you want me to do the work you've asked me to do for you, then you must give me an MP to come and help me to be able to do that. And so, we don't recognize any independent candidate. We have only one candidate in this constituency. And I'm going to raise his hand so that you all know that he's the one we have accepted as our candidate for the parliamentary election.